Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hope all is well. I'm just trying to get myself a water here. Been drinking a lot of water, and that's a good thing. Sunday it is after 8 p.m. at night. That is so good. It's hot today. It's hot. There's reasons why I'm on here, and I'm just going to get into it. It is with somewhat sort of sadness, but mostly like I'm bummed over something. My husband is totally, he's upset over it, but he'll be, I think he'll be okay. There is a silver lining. However, as of now, sad news to report is that our Disney trip has now been canceled. Yeah. Disney has been canceled, called up, did the cancellation. We spent last night to cancel out the airlines, and that's been done due to unforeseen circumstances. I'm okay with it. I guess you guys knew how I felt about this thing, but there are two of us here, so my husband is upset. I want to discuss though a few things, because what it is that I'm going to discuss the airlines, which we take JetBlue, and JetBlue is good. I have friends that take Spirit Airlines. I have friends that take Frontier Airlines. Both friends don't know each other, and both of them said the same thing about their own airlines. They may be cheap flights, but they suck. Okay. I said, well, why don't you guys just try JetBlue? So everybody's out to, save money. Okay. I'm going to go back 3 years, before the pandemic hit. And just as the pandemic hit, lots of people had, flights that needed to be canceled because the pandemic was a bad thing. And because of that, we canceled 2 Disney trips, and then we canceled the 3rd Disney trip. But what it is that my husband's a true Blue member of JetBlue. It's like a frequent flyer mile. We don't have anything to frequent flyer mile over. I mean, you gotta work at that for like at least 10 years to get $5 off on a flight, okay? I mean, they really make you work hard for these things. But that has nothing to do with what I'm discussing here now. The thing is that, and I don't know if many people know this, and maybe you guys can shed light on this. When I had booked the trip before the pandemic, what it is that when we booked it, we canceled. JetBlue back then was, they never issued you a refund. What they did was they put it into the money that was kept was put into a special banking. They banked your money. And I'm sure everybody could have used their money back then. I mean, you're in a pandemic, for God's sakes. But the money was banked. And by the time we booked last year's trip, that money was still banked. But nobody had said anything to us, like, when you booked the trip, we had 2 years to book the next trip, because what it is that JetBlue expanded it. You only usually get 1 year to book another flight. They gave us the extra year. So we went down to the wire because we weren't sure what we were going to do. Then we had a trip booked, then we had to cancel again, and then we had to rebank what was there. Okay. It was annoying that you have your own money that you can't grab and take back when you want. All right, there's a reason for this, and I'm getting to this. Last year we did that. We used that banked money for last year's trip. And the thing was that my husband lost close to $500 because the time was going, and the more sooner that you get to the 2 years, I think it was like 2 years and a week, they start taking money from that banking thing. That's terrible. It's like a penalty fee, but yet it's your money and your whole. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Okay, fine. It's awfully funny that I told my husband when he booked this trip. This one. We booked this trip. I think it was January. I think it was January 6th. That's kind of cutting it close for us. I'm going to let you in on now because usually we book like over a year in advance. Okay, but we booked it this year and we got it. So, you know, that money was spent the last year's trip. Okay, so when we booked this year in January, you know, it was close to, I'll be honest, close to $1,300. We like first class. That's number one. Number two, we do the legroom. My husband is very tall. He's like 6 foot to 6'1". He's in between 6 foot and 6'1". He's a very tall man, but he also has bad knees and bad legs, and he needs to stretch out. So this is one of the reasons why we do this. Okay, so this trip, just for the airline alone, was close to $1,300. I said to my husband in January, I says, we were explained by my husband's friend. When my husband says, you know, the trip was banked and then they, you know, kept some of the money, we were $500 short and they kept so my husband's friend says, didn't you buy the insurance? So my husband goes, I'll be honest with you, they didn't even offer the insurance. My husband's friend says that they're probably not going to. He says, but when you book the trip, what you should have done was buy the insurance. This way, if you do have to cancel in the future, you will get that money back. So it's your own personal thing. So this year, when we booked this trip, I says to my husband, get the insurance. So one of the smarter things to do was he got the insurance. So last night, I'm on the phone. I called JetBlue. Want to cancel. Got a guy on the phone and everything. We were working at it. He kept putting me on hold. I says, listen, you're going to see on my account that I purchased the insurance. I says, and I don't want to hear nothing else. I says, the insurance means that when I do cancel, that the money does not get banked. The way I paid for the money on my credit card is the way it's going to get credited back. Okay? He says, yes, that will. 7 to 10 working business days. Okay. Now you got a holiday, you know, 4th of July's coming, you know, things like that. So, you know, nobody's going to be working. It's going to be slower. All right, fine. But I know for reassurance that because this trip is now canceled, I wanted that money back. Okay. It's going to pay some bills and, you know, it's going to be put to use, which is cool. Not to be sitting at an airport, you know, in an airport thing being banked, okay, to where I can't touch my own money. And, you know, you don't know what the future is going to hold. You don't know what the future is going to bring, just like this trip. So, you know, made the decision, trip had to be canceled. Okay, fine. Now, being that this couldn't happen, and I'm going to say this is like kind of like a godsend, because what it is that I was 5 days off from making reservations for the food, for the booking, for the dining. Now, you know, Cinderella's Royal Table, you know, you got to pay that in full. That would have been a pain in the butt had I been able to book that and then knowing that maybe, God forbid, I have to cancel before we go down there. So I don't know if I would have lost that money or not. That would have been more money lost, okay? I'm out to get what's coming back to me. Now, the only thing which is even better is that the Disney trip itself was running on the deposit. It wasn't paid in full yet. Okay. Now, any time, also in the future, any time that we've always paid for trips, we always did it by cashier's check anyway. Okay, so that money would have had to been due in August, before the trip in September. Okay, but what it is that however you pay is the way you would get that back. That's another reason why we did that. We would do that without a credit card. We want the physical cash back. Okay, and that's how we do things. Okay, so this was a little bit iffy. And what it is that I says to my husband, we gotta cancel Disney. This was last night. I was in the middle of making dinner when all this went down. Okay. it was discussed for a while. I'm going to let you in on this. This was discussed for a while. Now, you knew I was going, as you knew as my viewers, I was kind of going back and forth on this, okay? I have a feeling like everything works out for a reason, okay? To me, I want to say this worked out for a very good reason. Now, my husband says, don't call maybe tomorrow. Okay, so I'm sitting here all morning this morning doing my housework and whatever. I was waiting for rain, which never really happened. The sun came out, everybody was at the pool. I was ticked because all I wanted to do was go to the pool. Never made it to the pool. Anyhow, I'm sitting here thinking, and I kind of had like this thought. I went, okay, wait a minute. And I'm saying to myself, I already have the deposit still on this trip. And I did hear of Disney that you are able to, people were starting to book for next year already. Now, years ago, I'm going to let you in on something. You were not really able to do that a year in advance. You weren't able to do that. I says, you know what? Let me go on DisneyWorld.com, where I go. Let me not sign in yet, because I didn't want my Disney Experience account touched yet. So let me just go on the website. Because there was somebody that says to me, you know, you could book for next year. I went, okay. You know me, I don't believe nothing until I actually have to do it. So I went on. I went to the calendar. I called my husband because he was on his way home from work. I said, do me a favor, give me dates. You have any dates in mind for next year? He says, what are you getting at? I says, I don't want to tell you yet. Just let me do what I want to do. Okay, fine. He gives me dates. Same, almost the same dates in September, maybe like a day or two off. And there's another reason about this trip. It may not seem much to you, but I'll explain that also. And I kind of said that this also worked out for this because I was very iffy on that as well. Okay, so I says, give me the dates. He gives me dates. So I just happened to go on the computer and I went on to DisneyWorld.com. I put the dates in. It picked, I wanted September, so it's rolling. And I says to myself, this is way too early yet. It's probably not even going to give me for next September. Well, the calendar's rolling. I thought it was going to stop in July or June of next year. It kept going. So I went July, wait a minute here, August, and it shifted and it went into September. And I said to myself, watch, it's not going to give me the dates that I want because it's only going to, let's say, like half of September. It gave the whole month of September. So I picked the 2 dates. Then it says, you know, you want to pick your resort. I says, okay, here we go, Pop Century. Okay. Now I know from from this trip, I had a pool preferred room. So we like that. This time around for a goof, I don't know what made me do it. I said standard pool room, standard pool preferred, standard. So we may be somewhere else, but you'll get to see the pool from wherever you may be. That's what I wanted. Okay, so in other words, it's like anywhere within like the front view of a pool. Okay, I hit continue. I says, okay, let me pick my park options. Let me pick, the tickets, the park tickets. And I picked, instead of the 7 days, it would be, what I picked was 6 nights, 7 days. What I usually do with this is that I make the tickets run out 12 midnight the night before I'm leaving to come back home. I want them cut off 12 midnight the night before. So in other words, the next day is the day that we're leaving. So it really wouldn't matter. So I had them, I picked a 6-day ticket pack. And it hit continue. And I'm saying, I went this far already. This was very strange for me because, like I said, you were never able to do this far in advance to book a trip for Disney years ago. You were never able to do that. Hit continue. Then here comes the dining plans. Now, for the dining plan, they gave me the price of what I would be paying, which would be, and I'm going to tell you, here it is, 2776.38, which is $2,776.38. That is with the room and is with the park tickets. Then they wanted, if you want to add on the meal plans now that they do the dining plans. That would have been a total for just for the quick service added onto my thing would have been $3,400. And so I went, no, that I can't do. We're not there yet. That I can't do. So I skipped that and I hit continue. Now I have everything on the board. So now what I did was I says, okay, this doesn't look bad. Now, Disney World, their website was actually having problems today, and I couldn't get onto the page. The page on the website would not load. There was a glitch. I think it's because they were updating their system. And later on, when I went on it, they did update their system. The whole board doesn't, it doesn't look the same anymore. So I got this price. Called my husband back. He's still on his way home. I says, listen, this, and this, and this, and this, and everything took. I says, I'm going to tell you now what I want to do. I want to call Disney World up. I want to see if I can switch the trip, not totally cancel this one, but move. I'm going to modify it, and we're going to go next year instead of this year. But I want them to take the deposit and the insurance that I have and tack it onto that one. So this way nothing else is exchanged. He says, you would do, I says, listen, I have everything. Right now, I says, I'm looking at this computer. I'm looking at everything on the board. And then I took the screenshot and I sent it to him. I says, everything would be set, but I want to call them and I want to ask if I can do this. Okay, fine. Called. Got a wonderful cast member named Cal. Really, this kid was cool. I was frantic. I says, listen, I can't get on my Disney experience. I can't get onto it while I have the guy on the phone, because you could do that on your phone. You could scroll on your phone while you're talking. I had him on speaker. I said, listen, I can't get into my Disney experience app. The app is no good. I said, the website is down. He says, no problem. Give me your information, your first name, your last name, your phone number, your address, and confirm. No problem. He says, I got you. I'm looking at you. He says, what, can I help you? He says, oh, welcome. You're coming down. I says, that's just it. No, I'm not. I says, I don't want to completely cancel, but what I have is the information that I would like to give to you. He says, yeah, what's, I said, I want to book this for September of next year, 2024. Gave him the dates. Gave him everything. And he put in all the information. And we have a trip now booked for next year. So this year is out and next year. Now, I don't know if anybody else knows this. I thought it was just for the base tickets, okay? Because I have, park hopper options. I have, that's what I want. Okay, so he couldn't tell me. I said, listen, I said, the 2 p.m. thing, by chance, is that going to go away? He says, I really don't know. They did not make an announcement yet. But what he told me next, I got very excited for this. I was like, you just gave me gold. He says, what? I says, listen, I says, this trip that I got now, I have my park reservations and everything, I says, I'm never a fan of this thing. I'm really not a fan of the park reservations, but I'm in, I did it. He says, yeah, I see that. Here's the surprise. You will not have to do any park reservations for next year. To me, that is literally like, for now. I says, Cal, which is his name. I said, Cal, I'm standing here now. I have goosebumps. I says, is this for real? He says, yeah. He says, no. He says, if you read starting January 8th or January 9th, I mean, it's on the, It's on the My Disney Experience thing when I load my page. Now, about an hour later, the page came up, and everything was already done. He says, no more park reservations next year. I said, but I thought that was only for base tickets. He said, it is for base tickets. He says, but you are going for a number of days. He says, you're in. He says, you're going to be fine. I was like, oh my God. To me, this is a huge thing. The handcuffs just came off because, remember, I always felt like, you know, you're under a radar with them. I just got done telling you guys this the other day in my last video. I said, you feel like I'm on a leash. Well, now that's been cut. So he says, no. He says, all the park reservations, he said, you won't have to do those. I says, but the 2 p.m. park hop, he says, yeah, right now, he says, that's still going. He says, I don't know if they're going to change anything. He says, hope for the best. He says, but right now, you know, you could start your day by going to any park you want. And I was like, I got, you know, let me tell you something. Between this trip or the next one, I'm literally excited for the 2024 trip. I was not jumping for joy on this trip. This one now, that's been gone. In a way, it kind of happened. It kind of worked out a little bit better. I did, however, lose the $350, the promotional dining voucher that they were going to give us for this trip. He says, unfortunately, you have to, you know, I said, listen, I'd sacrifice something, that's fine. Take away the park reservations, and right now, I'm good to go. To me, that's like a huge thing. Now, let's just get rid of that 2 p.m. park hopper, please. So the trip is booked, 2024, here we come. I think it's going to be better. I really do. So, but I didn't know that. Does everybody know about the, you know, the reservation system, that you don't need the park reservation for next year? You know, if you go on My Disney Experience, it'll tell you that. I only thought that was, like I said, for the base tickets. So he had explained. He says, you don't have, he says, technically you have a base ticket. He says, let's say you have a base ticket plus the park hopper option. He says, that's it. He says, and then you are down there for a number of days. He says, you actually have a package. He says, I says, okay, because I was a little fuzzy on that. So we're going to, you know, get the money back for the airline, which I'm ecstatic about because, you know, it is our money. I do want it back. I could do other things with it. And we are good to go for next year, you know. Yeah, things just happen weird. Very weird. I am sweating. It's very hot in here, but I will not put the air on yet. I won't do it. Not yet. And I was just so happy. I really was. I'm just feeling better about this trip for 2024. Hopefully that it just goes without a hitch. Okay, another reason for this trip. I was not crazy about coming home, because when we get down there, it would have been for September 5th until September 11th, which is our come home date. I have a thing with September 11th. I'm sorry. I was never really crazy about traveling to come back home here. And if we could have did something to alter that, it would have been different to do that. But we just didn't see, there was really no way to do that. So that was one of the main reasons right there to, you know, my husband picked the dates. I didn't. And I don't think he realized that until after the trip was really, really booked and, you know, full steam ahead. You know, I don't feel that I would actually like to travel on that day. I could have probably moved it down or shifted, but depending on my husband's vacation, that would have been hard to do. Because, you know, you only get a certain amount of days, you know. And that was it on that one. But, you know, I'm actually very excited about this for that. I mean, it's going to be now so we got to wait another 12 months. But you know what? You know, we do it every year anyway, so. And that's it on that one. Also, I do want to let you know a little other piece of Disney news, because I was going back and forth on it anyway. The Riviera Resort has come out with a new lounge fly. Now, I have the Riviera Resort, that pale pink one that I had purchased last year. But this one is more like a deep blue. I'm gonna post a shot of it on my Instagram page, so I will let you see that, just to let you know that there is a new, and there's matching ears to it. It's a nice deep blue, but I'm not into it. I just wanted that pale pink one, you know. I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna miss out on the Polynesian bag this year, you know, but I was hoping to at least see that in person. I wasn't crazy about it. It's cool looking in the picture. But I wasn't crazy about it because, you know, you see it, but then you have to see it in person. And now I won't get the shot to do that, you know. Things just happen for reasons, you know. But you gave me a little something of hope, which is no park reservations next year. This would have been the last year to do the park reservations. I went, wow, you know what? I don't want to do them. We'll start off next year. So that's good. Tomorrow's Monday. I'm probably going to go out a little bit tomorrow. See, just to hang out or whatever. You know, I mean, now I got all those new clothes for the trip and everything, but it's okay. It's okay. I still want to wear that Rapunzel-inspired outfit. I will do this at some point before I put this thing away. I washed it today. I just washed it today, so. But I want to wear it at least one time here. You know? Other than that, everybody's in pretty good spirits, you know? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, people. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to me. Now, to me, this was like an important announcement. I haven't been on in like quite a few hours because I was trying to get things together and do whatever it is. And then the wheels were turning for this thing happening. It's going to happen next year. But it's been booked already. Yes. So now we are full steam ahead for next year. I'm actually looking forward to this. You know, my husband is, yeah, you know what? And then when I mentioned, I says, listen, I got a surprise for you. I said, I don't know if I should tell you this, but, you know, maybe I should. You know, I was trying to give him a little glimmer of hope. I says, you know, no park reservations next year. He went, what? I said, nope. It's very frustrating, as you all know. We've all been through it. You know, Disney fans, we've all done it. It's frustrating. So hopefully maybe moving in the right direction. All right, people. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday evening. I'm going to go back and sit in front of the fan because now I'm starting to drip water and it's getting annoying. Oof. Okay, people. Have a wonderful evening. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Love to all. Bye-bye.